She thought she was losing her friends until she realized what she was actually gaining. Have you ever wondered what will happen if you stopped explaining yourself to everybody? Stopped going everywhere you were invited, stopped answering every phone call, and simply disappeared for a while? Not because you were angry, not because you hated anybody, but because you finally realized that you had a life to build. Let me tell you about a woman who learned this the hard way. She had friends, loads of them. There was always somewhere to go. Someone was calling. Someone needed her. There was always a birthday, a party, a girls' night out, a weekend away, a conversation that lasted 3 hours and somehow solved absolutely nothing. And she loved her friends. She really did. But somewhere along the way, she realized something uncomfortable. She was spending so much time being available to everybody else that she was becoming unavailable to herself. She had dreams she kept postponing, ideas she kept talking about, plans she kept saying she would start next month. And every time she sat down to work on them, somebody would call. Come out. Let's meet. Don't be boring. You've changed. And because she didn't want anybody to think she was becoming proud or antisocial, she kept going. Until one evening, she sat down and looked at her life. And she realized she had been busy, but she wasn't moving. That was the difference. She was busy, but she wasn't progressing. So she made a decision. For a season, she was going to choose herself. She didn't announce it. She didn't make a dramatic post saying, I'm cutting everybody off. She simply became less available. She stopped attending everything. She stopped explaining why she couldn't come. She started waking up early, reading, learning, working on the idea she had been postponing for years. She saved a little money. She learned new skills. She spent more time thinking. And yes, at first it felt lonely. Some people noticed. Some friends stopped calling. A few even said, she thinks she's better than us now. But she wasn't better than anybody. She was simply focused. And there is a difference between isolating yourself because you're hurting and giving yourself pace because you're growing. Then something happened that wasn't expected. One morning, an opportunity landed in her inbox. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't some huge life-changing offer that looked perfect from the beginning. In fact, when she told people about it, some of them didn't understand why she was so excited. They couldn't see what she saw, but she could. She could see the possibility. So she took the risk. She said yes. And that little opportunity became the beginning of something much bigger. The thing she had been working on quietly started gaining attention. People started noticing her work. Doors began opening. And eventually, the same people who had wondered why she had become so quiet were asking, how did you do it? And her answer was simple. I finally had enough time to hear myself think. And maybe that's the lesson. Sometimes the reason you can't hear your own voice is because there are too many other voices around you. Now, let me be very clear. Friends are important. Good friends are a blessing. We need people. We need laughter. We need companionship. We need people who will celebrate with us and people who will sit with us when life gets difficult. But there is a time for everything. There is a time to socialize. There is a time to celebrate. There is a time to rest. And there is a time to put your head down and build. Not everybody needs access to every season of your life. Sometimes you have to become unavailable to distractions so you can become available to your destiny. And please, Don't misunderstand me when I say destiny. I'm not saying you should sit down and wait for some magical thing to happen. You have to work. You have to learn. You have to take a risk. You have to make mistakes. You have to keep going when nobody is clapping for you, because life is a privilege, not a promise. And the fact that you're going through a difficult season doesn't necessarily mean your story is finished. Sometimes the season that looks like the end is actually preparing you for the beginning of something you couldn't have imagined. That door may not look impressive when it first opens. It may even look like a small opportunity. But if you have a vision to see what could be behind the door, the courage to walk through it, the discipline to keep going, that little opening can become something extraordinary. So, if you are in a season where you feel like you've lost people, don't immediately assume you've lost your way. Maybe this is the season to get quiet. Maybe this is the season to focus. Maybe this is a season to stop comparing your journey with everybody else's. And maybe, just maybe, the opportunity you've been praying for is already somewhere in front of you. You just haven't been still enough to recognize it. Remember this: you don't need everybody to believe in your vision before you begin. Sometimes you are the only person who can see what it could become. Take the step, do the work, protect your peace, choose your company wisely, and don't be afraid of a season of solitude, because sometimes you have to walk alone for a little while, not because you're lost, but because you're going somewhere. And when the door finally opens, I hope you are ready, because the chapter you thought was ending might just be the chapter where your real story begins. If this story spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And follow and subscribe to Podcast with Sheila for more real life stories, conversations, and lessons about life, growth, relationships, and everything in between. Sometimes all we need is one story to make us see our own situation differently. I will see you in the next one.